My name is Mia Vale. I'm 25 and I live out of a suitcase the way other people live out of backpacks of regrets. It's Los Angeles 2024, the year everyone in fashion learned to speak in carousels and hooks. Tap to see the dress move. Wait for the shoes. Last slide for the tea. I used to think the city's heartbeat was traffic. Now I know it's push notifications. Most mornings start the same iced coffee sweating on the counter light box humming under the window camera on its little tripod like a polite cyclops watching me do my hair. I talk to a tiny red dot and pretend it's a person. Then I check 3 inboxes: brand management and chaos. It was supposed to be my year. 2 capsule collections, a skincare launch, and a seat near the front at the spring shows. It was also the year I learned that betrayal doesn't arrive like thunder. It slides in quietly wearing your best friend's perfume. Her name is Lena. She's the person who held my phone while I practiced hooks until my voice broke. The person who edited my first lookbook in her kitchen because my laptop was dying. We met at a pop-up thrift on Melrose arguing over the same vintage leather jacket. 2 weeks later, we were filming each other's outfit checks and splitting car rides to brand events. People called us Limia. We leaned into it. We were a brand before we knew we were a friendship. The first crack was dumb and small. A jewelry brand went silent after weeks of talking. Their PR girl Liv used to send me voice notes full of exclamation points. Then her messages turned into single dots. I told myself it was budgets or algorithms or Mercury doing laps again. Then a shoe collab ghosted me. Then a sunscreen line reassessed priorities. 3 in a row. When the third one fell through, I laughed on camera. Sometimes no is protection, right? And off camera, I cried into a towel because I didn't want to ruin the makeup I was supposed to wear in the next story. Maybe they're just overwhelmed, Lena said, carving a croissant with a butter knife at my kitchen island, not looking at me. Q2 is weird. Yeah, I said. Weird. 2 days later, I opened my email to a subject line that made my stomach flip. Flag concerns Mia Vale. Professionalism. The message was intended for someone else, but forwarded to me by mistake, by an intern, bless her chaotic soul. It was from a talent coordinator at a big agency I'd been trying to get into for months. Inside were bullet points in cold, bureaucratic language. Multiple reports that Mia is difficult on set. Habitual lateness. Unreliable with deadlines. Tendency to steal looks from smaller creators without credit. I read it twice, then a third time because the words didn't make sense inside my head. I'm the girl who shows up 30 minutes early with spare batteries. I'm the girl who sets alarms to remind me to DM credit to the nail artist and the hair clip brand, and the barista who smiled at the B-roll. I'm careful, like other people are religious. 2 names were attached to the reports. The first was an anonymous Gmail that looked like a burner. The second was a full name I knew like the sound of my own ringtone. Lena Hart. For a long minute, silence weighed the room down like wet denim. I forwarded the email to myself, then to my manager, then I paced. I made a list on my notes app titled, Proof I'm Not Crazy. Deadlines met, deliverables sent, screenshots of calendar invites, thank you notes from brands. I told myself there must be an explanation. Maybe someone used her login. Maybe she was hacked. Maybe the galaxy was mislabeling things like a glitchy closet app. That night, Lena called while I was dry brushing bronzer off a brush. House of Cade is doing a neon campaign, she said, breathless. They're asking for the slime glass nails you did in March. I stared at my reflection. They canceled on me. What? Really? Yeah. Last week. That's weird. The next morning, a DM popped up from a micro creator I barely knew. Hey Mia, this is random, but did you seriously steal my 5 ways to style a scarf video? Someone said you copied it, frame for frame. I'm not trying to start drama, I just thought I'd ask. My hands shook. I pulled up her video and mine. They were different. Same item, different story. I typed a careful response and sent links, timestamps, credits. She replied with a heart. Then another DM, heard you were rude at the Luna shoot. Yikes if true. I wasn't at the Luna shoot. I'd been home with food poisoning posting throwbacks because I didn't want anyone worrying. The city felt louder. Every car horn sounded like a laugh. I told Lena I needed a day off the grid. I went to the beach at dawn, dug my toes into the cold sand, and cried where the ocean could take it. A gull screamed at me like it had notes. When I came back, the inbox was a bonfire. At this time, we're moving in another direction. We've decided to pause. We'll keep you in mind. And then, like a tiny bell ringing in a storm, an email I almost didn't open because the subject line looked like spam. Quick cue re-reference call. It was from an assistant at a luggage brand. The luggage brand, the one whose hard shells were in every airport story. Hi Mia, it read. We're excited about the potential partnership. Before we finalize, can you confirm the best contact at Lena Hart Media for your character reference? They asked us to loop them in after we connected. I stared so long the screen dimmed. I didn't list Lena as a reference. I never would have. But she had listed herself. I emailed back asking for clarity. The assistant, bless her, sent screenshots. A chain from Lena Hart Media signed Lena Mia's strategic advisor. I scrolled my heart a drumline. Lena had positioned herself as my gatekeeper. She'd proactively shared concerns. She'd CC'd brands I hadn't even pitched yet. The language wasn't angry or dramatic, it was measured, professional. That made it worse. Mia can be brilliant, but we've had repeated issues with reliability. We want to ensure your team is protected. Please consider tighter deliverable windows and a penalty clause. I wanted to scream. Instead, I screenshotted everything. My camera roll looked like a crime board. I texted Lena, "Can you come over now?" She replied with a sun emoji and on my way. When she arrived, her hair was perfect in that effortless way that takes 40 minutes. She hugged me like nothing was wrong. Her perfume was bright citrus, the same one she wore the night we hit 100K together. I held my phone in my palm like a blade. "What's this?" I asked, opening the email thread so she could read. Her face did something, flinched, maybe, then smoothed into neutral. "Oh, wow," she said softly. "This is not what it looks like." "What does it look like?" My voice was flat, a new thing I didn't recognize. "It looks like I maybe overstepped," she said. But I swear I was trying to help. Brands get nervous, you know. I thought if I showed them we were aware of, like, small issues. What small issues? The Luna thing. I wasn't at Luna. Well, the rumor. You started the rumor. Silence again, heavy and warm. She shrugged. "Mia, this is a business. You know how cutthroat it is. We're competing for the same slots. I was just optimizing." The word sliced me open. Optimizing. I laughed one ugly sound. "You tanked my work to optimize your own calendar." She crossed her arms, then uncrossed them. "You'll bounce back. You always do. And honestly, you're better on your own. You don't need these brand leashes." "Then why did you put one around my neck?" Her eyes flashed with something I didn't know. Pity, maybe. Or victory. "I think you should leave," I said, because rage was flooding my mouth, and I didn't trust what else might come out. "Now." She looked like she wanted to say more, then she didn't. She picked up her tote, adjusted her sunglasses, and paused at the door. "You're emotional," she said gently, like a lullaby made of needles. "Sleep on it." When the door closed, the apartment finally exhaled. I sank to the floor, my back against the cabinet's phone, cupped like a wounded bird. The betrayal wasn't a stab in the dark. It was a spreadsheet. It had headers and bullet points and CCs. It was organized. Worthless. The word floated up from somewhere deep and mean. What am I without the yeses? Who am I if the DMs go quiet? I opened my notes app and scrolled past "Proof I'm Not Crazy" to a blank page. I titled it "Receipts." Then I started pasting. Screenshots, voice notes, calendar invites. I added dates and times and the way my hand shook when I screen recorded her calling herself my advisor. Somewhere around midnight, I found an old voice memo I didn't remember saving. It was from a party in April, the rooftop one with the terrible DJ. The audio was fuzzy wind chewing the edges, but over the noise, I heard Lena laughing with someone near the bar. Mia. She's sweet, she said, voice syrupy. But if a few brands think she's flaky, I'll finally get my shot. That's just the game. I replayed it 3 times. The city beyond my window glittered like a lyre. My tears dried into salt. My fear hardened into something else. I watched the cursor blink on my notes app like a metronome. If influence was a story, then I was taking back the pen. I opened my camera app and flipped to front facing. My eyes were swollen. My eyeliner had surrendered hours ago. I looked like the kind of truth no brand could sponsor. "Hi," I whispered to the red dot. "We need to talk." I pressed record. The hardest part wasn't pressing record. The hardest part was deciding whether to keep recording. I sat there in front of my phone for 10 minutes talking, deleting, starting again, deleting again. Every version of me sounded wrong, too angry, too sad, too desperate. And desperation was the last perfume I wanted to wear online. Finally, I leaned back, let my head hit the wall, and whispered to myself, "Just tell the truth." So I did. I told the little red dot everything: how the brands ghosted, how the emails arrived like daggers, how my so-called best friend had slid herself into my business like a parasite with perfect eyeliner. But when I played it back, my voice cracked too much. My hands shook too visibly. I knew this wasn't the version that could go viral. Not yet. I needed more. Proof was one thing. Presentation was another. In LA, even revenge has to be well produced. The next morning, I made myself a checklist. Step 1, collect every single receipt. Step 2, decide how to tell the story. Step 3, control the drop. My manager Tessa called around noon. She sounded tired, older than the 31 years she actually carried. "Mia, babe, I need to be straight with you," she said. "The rumors are getting loud. A couple of brands called me this morning. They said Lena backed it up with screenshots." I laughed sharp and bitter. Screenshots. From what, her notes app? I don't know, but it's convincing enough that they're nervous. "Listen, I believe you. Do you?" I asked, my voice small. There was silence on the line. I almost hung up, but then she sighed. "Yes, I do. But believing you isn't enough in this industry. You need to prove it." "I will." "Mia." She hesitated. "If you do this, you can't half-ass it. Either stay quiet and rebuild, or burn it all down." Her words hung like smoke. That night, I started assembling. Voice notes of Lena mocking me, screenshots of her emails to brands, DMs where she pretended to warn people about my so-called behavior. Every little piece was like a brick. And I was building a wall she couldn't climb over. But walls weren't enough. I needed a stage. Scrolling through TikTok, I saw a girl post a storytime video about her roommate stealing rent money. It had 1 million views in 8 hours. The formula was simple camera at eye-level, raw background captions synced to the beat of honesty. I thought, that could be me, but bigger, cleaner, unignorable. The universe, of course, had a way of testing me. 3 days later, Lena texted, "Hey Queen, brunch this week, my treat." Like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't stabbed me with invoices. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened Instagram and saw her story: a brand dinner, long table, flickering candles. The brand was Luna, the same one that ghosted me. She sat center, laughing, tagged as Luna Girl. My chest burned. She wasn't just sabotaging me. She was replacing me. I threw my phone on the couch and whispered out loud, "Not anymore." The first video draft took me 4 hours. I sat cross-legged in my hoodie, hair in a claw clip, makeup raw. I explained what happened, dropped a few vague hints but didn't show receipts. I uploaded it to a private folder and sent the link to Tessa. She called me 2 minutes later. "Mia, you're halfway there. But right now it's just you crying. You need structure. Give people a villain they can't deny. Otherwise it's just drama." So, receipts front and center. Yes. And tell it like a movie. Hook them, Make them gasp, then twist the knife. If you want the truth to spread, you have to make it unforgettable. That night, I stayed awake until sunrise. I storyboarded like it was a campaign. Part 1. How I lost everything in 3 months. Part 2. Meet the person who did it. Part 3. Here's the proof. Finale, why I'm not afraid anymore. It wasn't just a revenge video anymore, it was a docuseries. And for the first time since the first email, I felt powerful again. The only problem, I still needed one last piece of proof. Something undeniable. Screenshots can be faked. DMs can be edited. People online are skeptics. What I needed was Lena's voice, saying the quiet part out loud. And I knew exactly where I might get it. At brunch. Brunch in Los Angeles is a performance. Everyone knows it. The mimosas are props. The menus are scripts. And the sunlight is the spotlight. That Saturday, I walked into Eden's Garden Cafe, a place with neon plants and marble tables where influencers posed more than they ate. I hadn't spoken to Lena since the confrontation at my apartment. Yet here I was, answering her text like nothing had burned between us. But I wasn't here for Eggs Benedict. I was here for evidence. I dressed the part, oversized sunglasses, crisp white blazer jeans that said casual but expensive. My phone rested inside my tote screen recording audio app running in the background. When I arrived, Lena was already at the table waving like a golden retriever who'd never bitten anyone. "Mia," she sang. "You look amazing. I'm so glad you came." I smiled, ordered sparkling water. "Of course," I said lightly. We needed to talk. The small talk was torture. She complimented my hair, my shoes, even my nails, as if flattery could erase betrayal. I nodded, hummed, and let her words float over me like cheap perfume. Finally, I leaned forward. "Lena, I want to clear the air. All these rumors, they're everywhere. People are saying things about me that sound like they came straight from you." Her smile froze for a heartbeat. Then it snapped back. "Babe, you know how this city works. People gossip. I can't control that. Can't. Or won't." She sipped her mimosa. "If brands think you're unreliable, maybe it's because they want someone who plays the game differently. It's not personal, Mia. It's just positioning." Positioning. The word hit me like a slap. I tilted my head, keeping my voice steady. "So you admit you told them things?" Lena sighed dramatically, setting her glass down with a click. "Okay. Yes. I said some things. But I did it to help you, not hurt you. If brands think you're too perfect, they don't believe it. They want flaws, realness." I gave them a narrative. A narrative. She said it like she was my ghostwriter, not my saboteur. I forced a laugh. "So you tanked my reputation to make me relatable." Her eyes sparkled. "And guess what? It worked for me. Luna adored me. I'm their new girl. You should be proud." Something inside me cracked, but I didn't show it. The phone in my tote captured every syllable, every arrogant confession. The waitress arrived with avocado toast, interrupting the tension. I barely tasted it. My mind was already editing the audio in real time, imagining captions flashing across the screen. I said some things. I gave them a narrative. It worked for me. Luna adored me. The receipts were stacking themselves. When brunch ended, Lena hugged me tightly, her perfume sweet and poisonous. "I knew we'd get past this," she whispered. "Best friends forever." I hugged her back because revenge requires patience. But as I pulled away, I whispered something only she could hear. "Forever is shorter than you think." Her brows knit together, but I was already walking out, sunlight blazing on my face like applause. That night, I transferred the recording to my laptop, trimmed the background noise, and listened again. Her voice was crystal clear. Each sentence was another nail in her coffin. I leaned back in my chair, headphones pressed tight, heart pounding with adrenaline. This wasn't just evidence. This was the smoking gun. And tomorrow, the world would see it. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Lena's voice on a loop. I gave them a narrative. It worked for me. Luna adored me. By sunrise, I was wired coffee in one hand, headphones in the other, replaying her confession until my brain burned it into my memory. This wasn't just gossip, this was content. And in Los Angeles, content is currency. I opened my laptop and began editing. Not a sloppy rant. Not a crying face confessional. This had to be polished enough to look professional but raw enough to feel real. The first shot was me barefaced sitting on the edge of my bed. No filters, no transitions, just truth. I started with a hook. In the last 3 months, I lost 3 major brand deals, a skincare launch, and most of my confidence. Here's how my best friend made it happen. Then came the montage. Screenshots flying across the screen like receipts on fire. DMs, emails, even that forwarded agency note with Lena's name stamped across it. Finally, I dropped the audio. Her voice crystal clear, layered over simple text. I said some things. I gave them a narrative. It worked for me. Luna adored me. I listened 5 times. My chest shook every single time. By mid-morning, the video was ready. I saved it as the truth about my ex-best friend, receipts included. But posting it terrified me. What if no one believed me? What if people said I edited the audio? What if I became the villain of my own story? My thumb hovered over the post button like it was a detonator. Then I remembered what Tessa said, either stay quiet and rebuild, or burn it all down. I pressed it. The video went live. The first hour was silent torture. A handful of views. 2 comments, drama alert. Girl, this better have proof. I wanted to crawl under my blankets. But by the second hour, something shifted. The algorithm picked it up. Notifications flooded like rain on glass. 10K views, 25K, 60K. Comments poured in. She got the receipts. Not her own bestie sabotaging her, tag Luna. They need to see this. By evening, the video hit 500,000 views. My phone buzzed nonstop, DM after DM, creators, fans, even reporters asking for interviews. But the part that made my throat tighten wasn't the numbers. It was the solidarity. Smaller influencers commented with their own stories of betrayal. Lost a collab because my friend lied too. My roommate stole my PR box and told the brand I never posted. You're so brave for posting this. Thank you. Suddenly my pain wasn't just mine. It was a chorus. At midnight, I checked Instagram. Lena's page was chaos. Thousands of angry comments flooded her latest post. Explain yourself. Bestie sabotage. Not cool. Unfollowed. Her stories were gone. Her bio was locked. She hadn't posted all day. For once, silence was her punishment. I should have felt triumphant. But lying in bed, phone buzzing beside me, all I felt was empty. Yes, the video worked. Yes, people believed me. Yes, Lena was finally exposed. But the girl who once filmed outfit checks with me in a thrift shop mirror, she was gone forever. And part of me hated that I missed her. The next morning, Tessa called, voice tight with excitement. Mia, you did it. The video's at 2 million. Brands are calling me again. Not to cancel, to work with you. I sat up, heart thudding. Seriously, seriously. But listen. She paused. Lena's not going to take this lying down. Be ready. I swallowed hard. She was right. Revenge was sweet, but retaliation, that was coming. Tessa was right. Lena didn't stay silent for long. By noon the next day, she posted a 3-minute video to Instagram titled, Clearing the Air. The thumbnail showed her with glossy eyes and a hand pressed dramatically to her chest. I knew the performance before I even pressed play. Hey guys, she began, voice soft and trembling. This has been the hardest week of my life. I never wanted drama, especially with someone I love like a sister. I nearly choked. Love like a sister. She sniffled delicately. A lot of what you've seen online has been edited out of context. I was just trying to protect Mia from industry pressures. Yes, I might have used the wrong words, but I never meant harm. Please stop sending hate. She ended with a sigh, a shaky smile, and a whispered, we all make mistakes. The comments split like glass. Some people bought it. Stay strong, queen. You're so misunderstood. But most didn't. Context doesn't explain receipts. She admitted it herself. Girl, bye. Still, it rattled me, because Lena wasn't just crying into the void, she was planting seeds. Doubt spreads fast online, faster than the truth. That afternoon, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Take the video down, or we release yours. My stomach dropped. What video? A second text followed. Check your email. Hands trembling, I opened my inbox. There it was, an anonymous message with a subject line that read, "Your turn." Inside was a video attachment. It showed me at a brand party months ago, drunker than I should have been, ranting to Tessa about how exhausting the industry was. At one point, I slurred. Sometimes I hate all of this. I don't even care if the brands cancel. Taken out of context, it looked like I didn't care about my work. I pressed my palms into my temples. Oh my God. When I called Tessa, she answered on the first ring. Don't panic, she said immediately. It looks bad, but it's not lethal. Every influencer vents. They're threatening to leak it. Then we get ahead of it. You can't run scared now. You've come too far. Her words steadied me, but fear still clung like smoke. That night, I paced my apartment, replaying Lena's faux apology video on loop. My anger returned sharper this time. She wanted to turn the tables, make me the villain, discredit me before I could finish what I started. No, if she wanted war, I'd give her war. I opened my notes app and added a new line under receipts. Anonymous threat, blackmail attempt. Then I stared at my reflection in the window. My eyes were swollen, but behind the exhaustion was steel. Fine, I whispered. You want context? I'll give you context. And then I'll bury you with your own words. The next morning, I woke to a new kind of noise headlines. Not the nice ones. The ones stitched with doubt. A lifestyle blog picked up Lena's clarification and ran it with a headline that read, "Influencer feud, are both sides to blame?" A thread on a forum rewound my worst clips and mashed them into a narrative about entitlement. And somebody with way too much free time had edited a short clip that made my tired rant sound vicious, like I was bragging about sabotaging other creators. My throat closed the minute I saw it. This was the counterattack manufacture ambiguity until no one remembered who was right. Tessa stayed laser-focused. We neutralize the blackmail, she said, already pacing. We document the leak. We find the source. How I asked the word thin. They're anonymous. Nothing's truly anonymous, she said. There are always breadcrumbs. We follow them. She called in favors. A friend at a small tech shop pulled server logs. A savvy creator I'd met at a barter shoot ran the edited clip through software to check for tampering fingerprints. People I'd helped along the way suddenly showed up in my DMs with screenshots and timestamps. The little kingdom I'd built, followers, friends, micro-creators, began to look like an army. My inbox bloomed with offers, legal help, PR advice, interview requests. I felt squeezed between triumph and exposure. And yet the thing that kept me awake most nights wasn't the trolls or the edits. It was Lena's voice. She hadn't just admitted she lied. She'd justified it as positioning. She'd sprinkled the word like glitter across everything she said. And where she positioned herself, someone else had made room. I started to wonder if Lena was the final player or just a piece on a bigger board. One late-night DM changed my course. Hey Mia, it read. We met at the Sunset pop-up. I was the one who connected you with the luggage brand months ago. I'm so sorry this is happening. If you want, I can share screenshots showing Lena pitching you as problematic before you ever contacted them. Signed, Marisol, a Marisol stuff. I stared at the message until the letters blurred. Marisol was small, but respected. If she had receipts predating my pitches, that meant Lena had been actively preempting me, planting doubts like seeds, long before collabs even started. When she sent the screenshots, my stomach dropped, then hardened into something like strategy. There were emails 2-3 where Lena copied brand contacts on messages that framed my behavior in the worst possible light. There were casual messages to other creators about weeding the garden. The timestamps were crisp. It wasn't just petty sabotage. It smelled like orchestration. That afternoon, I met with a reporter from a respected outlet who DM'd me since the video blew up. She wanted to go deeper than social clips. She wanted context names, a timeline. "You have something real here," she said, flipping through my folder. "But I need on-the-record corroboration. People will defend Lena or say this is a messy friendship breakup." "I have receipts," I said. "And I have a recorded confession." She looked up, eyes sharp. "Good. But be prepared, when we publish, her camp will come at you legally. They'll spin. They always spin. Can you handle that?" I thought about the anonymous blackmail and the edited clip and answered before my fear could squash me. "I can." We drafted an exclusive piece that would show the timeline, the emails, the audio, and the contextual interviews with smaller creators who'd been gaslit. It would be fair but frontal. It would give readers a seat at the table, and it would give brands nowhere to hide. As we planned, Tessa arranged a live stream for 2 days after publication. It would be me, raw but prepared walkthrough of proof Q&A and a promise to small creators about building a fair collab space. Then, as if on cue, new smoke appeared. An anonymous Twitter account posted purported screenshots of a DM from me, one where I supposedly asked a brand to delay payment to a micro-influencer. It was fake, but fake can be persuasive when it's pixel perfect. Within an hour, a micro-creator I'd mentored publicly accused me of being greedy. I felt my chest go hollow. For a moment, I wondered if truth even mattered anymore. I called Marisol and asked bluntly, "Who else are you seeing referenced? Same pattern," she said. "Lena's name shows up in threads with others, people who suddenly popped after brands pulled collaborations. There's a network, Mia. It looks like a small PR ecosystem." A small PR ecosystem. The word sat heavy and metallic on my tongue. If Lena had allies, people who benefited from keeping me small, this was bigger than a personal betrayal. This was a business model. We kept digging. Late nights turned into early mornings. My camera became my confessional and my filing cabinet. I recorded testimony from creators who had similar patterns, a name that cropped up, then silence, then a new face with better connections. On day 3 of sifting through emails, I found something that made me stop so hard my chair squeaked. An email chain where Lena forwarded a draft contract with a clause that penalized late deliverables, a clause she suggested to a brand before any of my deadlines were missed. She had crafted the weapon and then presented it as a safeguard. My stomach turned. I read the thread again and again until the words blurred. She didn't just plant seeds. She was writing the soil. I slept for 2 hours that afternoon, then woke to 3 new notifications, one from my lawyer, one from the reporter, and one that made my heart stutter. A formal email from Lena's attorney requesting immediate retraction of my video and threatening defamation suit if I did not comply. The legalese was precise and terrifying. They framed my video as malicious as a calculated attempt to ruin Lena. They demanded I take it down within 24 hours. I closed my eyes and felt the weight of everything. This was the moment. I could pull down the video, hide, shrink back into carefulness. Or I could push forward. I opened my laptop, pulled up the raw audio file, and watched the waveform ripple like proof. I thought of Marisol's screenshots, the luggage brand chain, the micro-creators' messages. I thought of every sleepless night. Tessa's text came through. "You made it this far. Don't let them scare you." I placed my fingers on the keyboard and drafted an email to the reporter. "We're going public. Full package. Attorney on standby. Live stream in 48 hours." My pulse thudded like a drum roll. I hit send. There was no going back. A minute later, my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, a courier stood there with a plain envelope and no return address. Inside, a single sheet of paper, a sentence typed centered in black ink. "Some secrets are more expensive than your career. Consider this a kindness." No signature, no explanation. I looked up, heartbeat echoing in my ears, and realized the game had just gotten darker. I held the paper so tightly it crumpled in my fist. Some secrets are more expensive than your career. The words burned hotter than any headline, hotter than Lena's fake tears. What secret? What did they think I was hiding? I checked the envelope again. No sender, no logo, no fingerprint smudge. Just the typed warning, centered and cold. For the first time since this started, I felt the edge of fear. Not the digital kind, comments, trolls, rumors. This was physical. Someone knew my address. Someone wanted me afraid enough to fold. Tessa came over the moment I texted her a photo of the note. She read it twice, jaw tightening. Classic intimidation tactic, she said. They want you second-guessing yourself. Intimidation from who Lena, her lawyer, a fan, could be all of the above. Or someone else invested in her image. I rubbed my temples. But what's the secret? What do they think they have? Tessa looked me dead in the eye. Doesn't matter. Even if they made something up, the threat alone is designed to rattle you. That night, I couldn't focus. I left lights on, triple-checked the locks, and sat with my laptop open like a shield. I kept replaying every conversation, every party, every night I'd overshared. Did I say something reckless? Did someone record me without knowing? My paranoia grew legs. And yet deep in my chest something else pulsed fury. They thought fear would silence me. They were wrong. The next morning, I doubled down. I called the reporter, told her about the envelope. She paused, then said, "We can include this in the piece. It shows the lengths people will go to silence you." But part of me hesitated. If I made the envelope public, it would escalate. Whoever sent it would know I wasn't backing down. "Print it," I said finally. "Let them see I'm not scared." Meanwhile, Lena broke her silence again. This time, she went live. I clicked in with 30,000 others watching her sit in a candlelit room, face painted with sincerity. "Mia is hurting," she said, voice smooth. "And I get it. We've all been there. But she's twisting things. The audio spliced, the emails misinterpreted. I never sabotaged her. I only wanted the best." She clasped her hands like a preacher. "Please stop attacking me. I'm human too." My phone buzzed with messages from friends watching. "Don't let her gaslight everyone. Go live too. Mia, she's weaponizing sympathy." I wanted to scream. Instead, I whispered to my camera, "Let her talk. I've got receipts she can't rewrite." That night, my inbox lit up with something unexpected, a direct message from a burner account. The profile was empty. No posts, no followers. It said, "You're looking in the wrong place. Lena isn't the only one. Ask who profits when you fall." No name, no clue, just that sentence. I stared at it until dawn, heart thudding. Because maybe they were right. Maybe this wasn't just Lena. Maybe Lena was the face, but someone else was pulling strings. The burner DM echoed in my head all night. Ask who profits when you fall. By morning, the words felt like a riddle carved into my skull. Who profited? Obviously, Lena gained attention, gigs, and Luna's spotlight. But the message made it sound bigger, like Lena wasn't just greedy. She was useful to someone else. I pulled up the list of brands that had ghosted me. Jewelry, shoes, sunscreen, luggage. Each one had replaced me with someone. Some new face who just happened to pop up when I disappeared. It wasn't random. It was rotation. Tessa joined me at my kitchen table, sipping black coffee while I pointed to a spreadsheet on my laptop. "Look," I said. "Every time I lost a deal, another creator from the same agency got it. Different faces, same talent management company." Her brows knit. "Wait, you're saying Lena wasn't freelancing her sabotage? She was doing it for them?" I nodded. "They profit twice, cut me down, push their talent up." We sat in silence as the puzzle clicked into place. It wasn't just betrayal, it was strategy. That afternoon, Marisol called me in a hushed voice. "Mia," I asked around. "Off the record, Lena signed with Goldline Media 6 months ago." I froze. Goldline was one of the fastest-growing agencies in LA, notorious for aggressive tactics. "She's not rogue," Marisol whispered. She's their soldier. The air left my lungs. All this time, I thought I was fighting one girl with sharp eyeliner. Instead, I was staring down an empire. That evening, I drafted a second video. Different tone. Less heartbreak, more fire. "Hi, it's Mia again," I said to the lens, voice steady. "You've heard about the sabotage. But here's the part you don't know. This isn't just about a friendship gone toxic. It's about an industry machine that feeds off betrayal." I didn't drop the agency's name yet, I wanted the article to break that. But I hinted every collab I lost, someone else from the same network got it. And Lena wasn't acting alone. When I replayed it, my skin prickled. It was dangerous, but it was the truth. Before posting, I texted Tessa. She called immediately. "Mia, you can't just poke the bear. They have lawyers' PR money. They already threatened me," I cut in. "If I don't speak, they win. If I do, at least people see the strings." She sighed so loud I imagined her pinching the bridge of her nose. "Then make sure you've tied your armor tight, babe. This won't just be gossip anymore. This will be war." That night, Lena broke her silence yet again, this time in an interview with a glossy magazine. The cover line was syrupy, "The friend who was misunderstood." Inside her quotes dripped poison. "Mia's fragile." I tried to shield her. But when someone spirals, they look for villains. Unfortunately, that villain became me. She smiled in the photo shoot, wrapped in designer silk like innocence itself. I slammed the magazine shut. She wasn't spiraling, she was climbing. And she'd step on my neck to reach the top. At 3 a.m., I uploaded my second video. The caption read, "When betrayal is bigger than one person." I hit post. 10 minutes later, the views started rolling in. By noon, the second video was everywhere. Twitter threads dissected it. TikTok duets popped up, creators nodding along to my words. Hashtags trended. Hashtag receipts. Don't lie. Jarish influencer machine. Jar justice for Mia. The comments split sharper this time. "She's exposing the industry, not just Lena." "About time someone said it out loud." "This is bigger than tea." "This is corruption." But with support came heat. By afternoon, I got my first death threat. Anonymous Ugly typed in all caps, "Stop, or we stop you." I showed it to Tessa. She pursed her lips and said, "That means you hit a nerve." Good. I didn't feel good. My hands shook, opening my DMs, each one a mix of love and venom. Then came the bombshell. The reporter called. Her voice was urgent, almost breathless. "Mia, the article's ready to go live tomorrow morning." We traced the contracts. Goldline Media had a pattern: creators who mysteriously lost deals, followed by their own clients taking the slot. "You weren't the only one. You were just the loudest." My stomach flipped. "Who else?" She rattled off 3 names: people I knew, people I'd collabed with. They'd all gone quiet months ago. Now I knew why. "This will make waves," the reporter said. "But Goldline will fight back hard. Are you ready for your face on every blog, every feed?" I swallowed. Ready or not, it's happening. That night, Lena fired her next shot. She posted a reel, glossy and slick, shot like a mini documentary. Soft piano music. Clips of us from old times, laughing in thrift shops, sharing inside jokes. Over it, her voice said, "I never wanted to lose a friend. I just wanted to succeed. If that makes me the villain, then maybe success demands sacrifices." Sacrifices. The word made my blood boil. The reel ended with a photo of us hugging, text overlay, "Once sisters, now strangers. Pray for both of us." The comments exploded. Some called her manipulative, others pitied her. But the photo cut deep. For a moment, I almost remembered the good times. Almost. Then I remembered the envelope, the blackmail, the contracts. And my pity turned to steel. I spent the next hours prepping for the live stream. My slides were ready. Timeline of sabotage. Screenshots of emails. The brunch audio. Proof of Goldline's rotation strategy. Tessa rehearsed questions with me. "What if they call this fake?" she asked. Then I show the raw files. "What if they threaten legal action live?" Then I tell everyone watching. "Let the world see how they silence whistleblowers." She nodded slowly. Okay, then this isn't just a live. It's your trial, and your audience is the jury. At 2 a.m., I checked my phone one last time before bed. A new message waited from the burner account. Careful. Goldline plays dirtier than you think. They bury more than careers. I stared at the words until my vision blurred. What did that mean, bury more than careers? A chill crawled up my spine. Tomorrow, everything would break open. But tonight, I realized I wasn't sure if I was ready for what I might uncover. The morning of the live stream, my apartment felt like a war room. Laptop open, ring light, glowing slides queued. My phone buzzed nonstop notifications, warnings, even anonymous messages telling me to shut it down while you still can. I ignored them. Tessa arrived with 2 iced coffees and nerves in her eyes. You ready? She asked. I exhaled. No, but I'll do it anyway. She squeezed my shoulder. That's the difference between us and them. We do it scared. When the countdown on my screen hit 0, I clicked go live. At first, a few hundred people joined, then a few thousand. Within minutes, the viewer count ticked past 20,000. My heart thumped so hard I thought the mic would pick it up. Hi everyone, I began steady as I could. You've seen the rumors. You've seen Lena's side. Now you're going to see the truth. I clicked the first slide, a timeline of deals lost, each one replaced by a Goldline media client. The comments flooded, pattern is obvious. OMG, they really rotated her out. Then came the emails. Screenshots timestamped showing Lena CCing herself into my business. Gasps filled the chat. Finally, I played the brunch recording. Her voice rang out clear. I said some things. I gave them a narrative. It worked for me. Luna adored me. The chat exploded. Emojis, disbelief, outrage. Half an hour in the live stream hit 50,000 viewers. Journalists, creators, fans, all tuned in. But then the disruption came. The stream chat suddenly flooded with bots spamming fake. Defamation. Stop lying. My screen glitched. The audio cut for 3 seconds. Tessa whispered, they're trying to crash us. I leaned toward the camera. Funny thing about truth, it doesn't disappear because someone yells over it. The chat roared back with support. The bots drowned under real voices. At the 1-hour mark, I made my final statement. This isn't just about me. It's about every creator who's been silenced, swapped out, or sabotaged because agencies play chess with our lives. Goldline Media made me their pawn. But tonight, I'm flipping the board. I ended with the words, receipts don't lie. People do. Then I clicked end stream. My hands shook as the room fell quiet. Tessa hugged me tight. You did it. No matter what happens next, you did it. But before I could breathe relief, my phone lit up with a news alert. The article had gone live. Headlines screamed across every feed. Goldline Media accused of sabotaging influencers' evidence from inside the industry. And right beneath it, a statement from Goldline. These allegations are false. We intend to pursue legal action. My chest tightened. This wasn't over. This was just the next round. The morning after the live stream, Los Angeles felt louder than ever. Every billboard, every push notification, every whisper in cafes, it all seemed to carry my name. My phone was a battlefield. Some DMs were love letters, thank you for speaking up. Others were grenades. You ruined someone's career for clout. And threading through it all were legal warnings from Goldline's attorneys. Tessa scrolled through one with a scowl. They're bluffing. Standard scare tactics. Scare tactics work when you're scared, I muttered. You're not scared. You're pissed, she corrected. She was half right. I was both. The article was viral by noon. News anchors debated it. Podcasts dissected it. Even gossip accounts usually allergic to nuance were calling it the scandal that might change influencer culture. But Goldline struck back fast. They issued statements calling my evidence doctored and deeply misleading. They paraded other influencers' faces I recognized who vouched for them on camera. Seeing those people hurt the most. Some of them had once cried on my couch about unfair contracts. Now they smiled into ring lights and said Goldline has always supported me. It was proof of just how powerful the machine was. That night, Lena broke cover. She posted a polished Q&A video answering fan-submitted questions. Did I sabotage Mia? No. She said, her voice calm. Did I try to protect her from overcommitting? Yes. Did I maybe miscommunicate? Sure. But do I deserve death threats? Absolutely not. She paused, eyes glassy. Mia was my best friend. Watching her attack me publicly has been the worst pain of my life. The comments were split, half pity, half rage. But one line in her video made me stop cold. Mia knows things about me, and I know things about her. But I'd never weaponize her secrets. Secrets. The word sliced through me like a blade. Was she behind the envelope? I couldn't sleep. The shadows in my apartment felt closer than usual, every creak a warning. I scrolled endlessly, trying to distract myself until a new DM landed. From the same burner. She's not lying. Secrets cut both ways. If you push, she'll bleed you too. I stared at the screen, my pulse racing. What secret could Lena possibly have on me? Something I'd forgotten. Something I'd said when I trusted her. For the first time, I wondered if I was truly ready for this war. The next morning, the reporter called again. Mia Goldline's filing for an injunction. They're trying to legally block the spread of your livestream clips. I rubbed my forehead. Can they? Maybe temporarily. But the internet doesn't forget. She hesitated. And there's something else. Off record, another source came forward. Someone inside Goldline. They claim the sabotage strategy was formalized. A whole playbook. My breath caught. Do they have proof? They say yes? They're scared, but they'll meet you if you want. I felt the weight of the choice press down. Meeting this insider could give me the weapon to end Goldline, or it could be the trap that ends me. I agreed to the meeting. Maybe it was reckless, maybe it was brave, but by now those two words felt like the same thing. The contact picked the spot, a dim diner on the outskirts of Los Angeles, the kind of place with sticky menus and buzzing neon that no influencer would ever dare post. Perfect for secrets. I wore a baseball cap low over my face. Tessa insisted on coming sitting in the corner booth like my silent bodyguard. At 9:07 p.m., a man slid into the seat across from me. Mid-30s, nervous eyes, a cheap suit that didn't quite fit. Call me Drew, he said. We ordered coffee, we didn't drink. His hands shook as he slid a USB stick across the table. This, he whispered, is the playbook. Goldline's strategy guide. It details how to manage competitors, which really means sabotage them. Rumors seeding, brand whispering, even fake burner accounts. I stared at the stick, my pulse pounding. Why are you giving this to me? Because I can't stomach it anymore. I signed on thinking they'd elevate talent. Instead, I've watched them destroy careers. Yours isn't the first, and if you don't stop them, it won't be the last. Tessa leaned forward. Why trust you? Drew exhaled. Because I'm already disposable. They'll cut me soon. Maybe this way I get to walk away with some dignity. I pocketed the USB, my fingers cold around the metal. Be careful, Drew warned. Goldline doesn't just bury contracts, they bury people. Ask about Ava Ross. The name hit me like a slap. Ava, an influencer who vanished from the scene a year ago. She'd been rising fast then one day. Gone. No posts, no farewell, just silence. What happened to her? I whispered. Drew's eyes darkened. She tried to expose them too. We left the diner in silence, the night air heavy with unspoken dread. Back at my apartment, I plugged in the USB. My laptop hummed and folders popped up. Sabotage protocols, client rotation, crisis management. Inside documents detailed everything. Templates for anonymous concern emails. Guides for spreading rumors without leaving fingerprints. Lists of targets creators marked as threats. And there, under archived cases, was Ava's name. My hands trembled as I clicked. It was a PDF with cold bullet points. Spiraling narrative reinforced. Partnerships redirected successfully. Outcome: permanent exit from industry. Permanent exit. I covered my mouth, bile rising. Tessa read over my shoulder, whispering, Mia, this isn't sabotage. It's erasure. The room tilted. I thought of Ava's smiling photos now erased from feeds like she never existed. Was that the path Goldline wanted for me too? I slammed the laptop shut, chest heaving. No, I said more to myself than to her. They're not erasing me. Not this time. But even as I said it, a new message pinged on my phone. From the burner. You found the playbook. Careful. Ava thought she could outsmart them too. I dropped the phone, heart racing. They knew. They were watching. The playbook changed everything. It made the sabotage look like a system, not an accident. I replayed the PDF until the words blurred. Permanent exit. Spiraling narrative reinforced. Redirect partnerships. It read like a how-to for erasing someone from an industry without fingerprints. My chest tightened every time I scrolled. The room felt too small. Tessa sat with me, silent, the kind of silence that did not need words. We have to find Ava, she said finally. Her voice was flat but fierce. If she's alive, she's the proof. If she's not, she didn't finish. Neither of us wanted that sentence to end. I thought about the photos, Ava laughing on rooftop shoots, captions full of sun and plans. Then the sudden vanishing, no farewell, no announcement. An inbox with unread messages that never received replies. The industry had shrugged and leaned forward to the next pretty face. It was sickening. Drew warned us once to ask about Ava Ross, so we asked. The reporter moved fast. She had sources, and once you say the right words, playbook archived cases people clench and spill. A junior account manager from Goldline texted an address, a forwarding mailbox in a strip mall where talent mail sometimes landed. An ex-assistant gave us a name of a property manager for an apartment complex in Echo Park. Names connected like pins on the board. We were building a map. We drove that map like detectives, but instead of badges, we had ring lights and shaky courage. At the Echo Park apartment, a neighbor remembered Ava's laugh and said she'd moved out in a rush last spring, leaving a suitcase. No forwarding address. The property manager looked uncomfortable, eyes darting. People move for work, he said. You know how LA is. Did anyone pull the lease? Tessa asked. He said no. Paperwork vanished, not uncommon. He shrugged. But when we asked about CCTV, his shoulders tightened. We don't keep it long. Sorry. Small doors closed in small ways. Goldline's machine had been designed to disappear things quietly. We kept pushing. A friend at a logistics company checked cargo. Manifests sometimes talent disappearances coincided with overseas shoots and one-way bookings. Nothing conclusive, but patterns emerged: sudden passport renewals, last-minute transfers, and accounts that went dark after contact with certain PR reps. Pattern again: rotation, redirection, erasure. Then 3 days later, a lead that made my mouth go dry. An old collaborator forwarded a voicemail from a number she'd never saved. The voice on the recording was hoarse, hurried. A woman, maybe Ava, saying only, "If anything happens to me, look at Goldline." Then the line went dead. I listened in my car 3 times, shoulders clenched. My hands trembled so badly I pulled over. For the first time in this whole mess, I felt the cold spike of real fear for someone else, not my own career. Ava might be in danger. We handed the voicemail to the reporter. She leaned forward, breath sharp. This is huge. If we can authenticate this, if we can place it in the timeline, it will change everything. But what if she's hiding? I asked. Then we find the hiding place, she said. If she's silenced, we make noise so big they can't bury her. Only then did the threats go from digital to closer. A car followed me home one night, too slow to be coincidence. I noticed because the light hit chrome in the same pattern as my rear view. I took a different route, heart jackhammering. My phone got a text from the burner account. Don't get curious about the missing ones. People get buried for less. That night, I slept with the lamp on. I woke to Tessa shaking me. 2 men in suits had come by asking my building concierge for me. They left a card with a law firm's name, same firm that Goldline used in their statement. The concierge said they asked polite questions and looked around. Whatever playbook Goldline had, they had legs and lawyers, and they were beginning to walk them toward me. The reporter insisted we move faster. She set up a secure line, an encrypted folder, and a plan to publish a second deeper piece. Verified timestamps, Ava's voicemail server logs from the playbook file testimony from ex-staff, and a document trail leading back to Goldline executives. She wanted more than a viral post. She wanted legal weight. We also prepared for the worst. My lawyer handed me a packet of instructions: don't post raw audio to social preserve chain of custody use, only secured transfers, and if there were any physical threats, notify the police. The words witness protection slipped across a page and made my throat close. Ava's name on the archived cases folder had implied permanent exit. What if permanent meant something darker than being blocked by algorithms? There were nights I thought about pulling back. Move to a quiet town, get a fake handle, try to forget. But every time I imagined that, I pictured Ava's hoarse voicemail and the suitcase left behind. I couldn't walk away from that. On a gray morning, the reporter called with a single brutal question. Do you want us to name Goldline publicly in the article? Tessa and the reporter exchanged looks. My stomach flipped. Naming them would invite a scorched earth campaign. Not naming them might make the story impotent. I thought of Ava's voicemail in my pocket, of the face in the photo that had been scrubbed from everywhere. I want them named, I said, voice thin but steady. They're not small-town bullies. They have power. If we hide that, someone else will disappear. We scheduled the publish for 3 days out. The newsroom moved like a tightrope, every fact double-checked, every source verified. We prepared to be loud enough that even a well-oiled machine couldn't muffle us. 2 days later, a package arrived at my door. No return address. Inside a cheap tourist camera and a single Polaroid stuck out a photo of Ava sitting on a bench at a park, head-down date printed on the back 6 months ago. Somebody was watching. Somebody had been watching Ava. My hands went numb. The game was no longer about likes. It was about survival. I couldn't stop staring at the photo. Ava had bowed hair covering half her face, sitting on a weathered bench in a park I didn't recognize. The date on the back 6 months ago mocked me. It wasn't proof of life. It was proof of surveillance. Someone had been close enough to take this picture, close enough to watch her without being seen. Tessa paced my apartment, chewing her thumbnail. This isn't random, Mia. Whoever sent this wanted you to know Ava's not just a rumor. She was real, and someone still has eyes on her. Then why send it to me? I asked, my voice hoarse. To scare me, to push me deeper. Or to warn me. Neither of us had answers. That night, I uploaded the Polaroid into a secure folder for the reporter. Her reply was almost immediate. We'll run image analysis, check park landmarks. If she's alive, we'll find her. But hours later, another DM landed from the burner account. You're getting too close. Ava was the first. Don't make yourself the second. My blood turned to ice. The next day, the article naming Goldline went live, front page on major outlets, plastered across Twitter and TikTok. The headline was bold, unflinching. Inside the playbook, Goldline Media's pattern of sabotage and erasure. My name was everywhere. My face in the feature photo, my quotes in bold. Screenshots of the playbook documents, Ava's voicemail transcript, and the Polaroid blurred for privacy, but unmistakable. Supporters rallied. Creators with modest followings shared their own stories. Hashtags trended. #Goldline exposed. #protect creators. Where is Ava? But Goldline's response came just as fast. They released a counter-statement calling the documents fabrications, accusing me of a defamation campaign fueled by personal vendetta. Their lawyers filed for damages. Lena, of course, couldn't resist. She posted a teary video captioned, "When lies become headlines?" The comments split again, but this time the tide felt different. More people doubted her. More people demanded answers. That evening, as I scrolled, a new video surfaced on a shady gossip account. Grainy footage shot from across a street. Ava, Not 6 months ago last week. Walking quickly, hood up, clutching a duffel bag, looking over her shoulder. The caption read, "Remember Ava Ross." She's alive. But what is she running from? I froze, the phone slipping in my hand. Ava wasn't gone. She was hiding. Tessa looked at me, eyes wide. If she's alive, Mia, we need to find her. She's the key to everything. But before I could respond, my phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. Stop searching. Ava doesn't want to be found. I couldn't shake the image of Ava, hood up, duffel bag tight against her chest, eyes darting like prey. Alive, but cornered. Alive, but running. And now the message, Ava doesn't want to be found. Was that true? Or was it exactly what they wanted me to believe? Tessa sat cross-legged on my couch, scrolling the gossip clip frame by frame. Look, she pointed. That bench. Those light posts. That's Griffith Park. My pulse spiked. You're sure? Pretty sure. I hike there every weekend. That stretch near the old observatory. We had a location. The next day we drove out before sunrise. The city was still yawning awake, but my nerves were electric. We walked the trail where Ava had been filmed. The air smelled of dust and eucalyptus. Every crunch of gravel under my shoes felt too loud. Do you really think she'll be here? I whispered. She's not a ghost, Tessa said. If she's hiding, she has to live somewhere. Parks are good cover. Open, public, no rent. We searched for hours. No Ava. Just joggers, dog walkers, a guitarist strumming by a bench. But then under the bench where she'd been filmed, I spotted something wedged between slats of wood. A folded piece of paper, weather-worn. My hands shook as I pulled it free. Scrawled in messy ink were just 3 words. Don't trust them. I turned the paper over, blank except for a faint water stain shaped like a circle. Coffee, or maybe the bottom of a bottle? Tessa looked over my shoulder, eyes wide. She left this. Or someone wants us to think she did? I muttered. The paranoia pressed in. That night, back at my apartment, I uploaded the note into the reporter's encrypted folder. She called immediately. Mia, the handwriting looks like Ava's from her old contracts, but we'll get it authenticated. Her voice dropped. This confirms it, she's alive, and she's reaching out. But she's scared of someone. Maybe of everyone. Meanwhile, Goldline doubled down. Their lawyers filed a temporary injunction to remove my second video claiming industrial sabotage. Platforms hesitated but didn't pull it yet. Lena, of course, poured gasoline. She went live sighing dramatically. Seeing Mia drag Ava into this, it's cruel. Ava left because she wanted to. Some people just can't handle the spotlight. The comments went wild. Some asked, where is Ava? Others parroted Lena. She left by choice. Respect it. I clenched my jaw so tight it ached. Respect. They wanted us to respect silence while they manufactured it. At midnight, a new email pinged from an encrypted address. Subject for Mia. Inside was a single attachment, a shaky video clip. Ava again. This time closer, filmed at night. She looked right into the camera, whispering something almost inaudible over the wind. I cranked the volume, heart hammering. Her lips formed the words, "It's bigger than Goldline." Then the clip cut to black. "It's bigger than Goldline." I replayed the clip until the pixels broke into static. Ava's whisper looped in my head, a warning, a confession, a plea. Bigger than Goldline, but how much bigger? Tessa leaned over my shoulder, jaw tight. Mia, if she's right, then this isn't just one agency playing dirty, it's an entire ecosystem. I nodded slowly. Agencies, brands, maybe even platforms. Everyone profits when the right people get pushed up, and the wrong people get erased. The thought hollowed me out. Maybe I hadn't just picked a fight with Lena. Maybe I'd declared war on the whole machine. The reporter called the next morning, voice buzzing with urgency. Mia, I've authenticated Ava's video. Metadata shows it was recorded just 4 nights ago. She's alive. And scared. And she's trying to get the truth out. Her breath caught. But you should know, since the article went live, Goldline's stock in their parent company dipped 11%. Investors are panicking. Which means they'll fight harder. They already are, I muttered, glancing at my phone, another wave of anonymous threats. That afternoon, someone slid an envelope under my apartment door. No courier, no knock. Inside, a single photo of me taken from across the street just yesterday. On the back, one line in block letters, "Bigger than you can handle." My knees buckled. They weren't hiding anymore. They wanted me to feel hunted. Tessa found me sitting on the floor, clutching the photo. "They're trying to break you," she said softly. "But if Ava's right, this is our chance to rip the whole system open, not just Goldline." I stared at her. "And what if it rips me open instead? Then at least you didn't go quietly." Her words lit something stubborn in me. That night, I went live again. Not to show receipts, not to argue with bots, but to speak directly. "Someone out there wants me quiet," I told the camera. "They send me threats, they follow me, they wave lawsuits. But Ava's message is clear. This isn't just one bad actor. This is a system built on silence, and I won't be silent." The comments flew in. "We got you, Mia. Expose them all. Where's Ava?" I ended with, "This isn't over. It's only beginning." Minutes later, my phone pinged again. An email. No subject, no signature, just a single attachment, a PDF. I opened it. Inside was a scanned contract, pages marked with highlights. And at the very top, the header read, "Influencer Talent Management Association Best Practices Guide." Not Goldline, something bigger. The PDF sat on my screen like a loaded gun. Influencer Talent Management Association Best Practices Guide. At first glance, it looked corporate logos, clean fonts, legal phrasing. But the highlighted lines chilled me. "Strategic competitor redirection is acceptable under discretion of member agencies. Narrative management ensures talent longevity. Escalation protocols include suppression of digital presence where necessary." This wasn't best practice. It was codified sabotage sanitized with business jargon. Tessa read over my shoulder, face pale. "Oh my God, Mia. This isn't just Goldline. It's an entire association of agencies working together." Her words landed like bricks. The playbook wasn't a rogue manual. It was endorsed, institutionalized. The reporter confirmed our fears hours later. "I've seen drafts of this before," she admitted. "Buried in lawsuits, non-disclosure agreements. Everyone whispers about the association, but no one's had proof like this. If we publish it..." Her voice cracked. "We're not just hitting one company. We're taking on an industry cartel." I felt dizzy. My fight had just widened from personal betrayal to systemic corruption. And I wondered if I was strong enough to carry it. That night, I tried to sleep, but nightmares came in flashes. Ava's whisper, the Polaroid, the photo of me from across the street. Every creak in my apartment made me jolt awake. At 3 a.m., my phone lit up. Another message from the burner. "You think you've uncovered something new? We wrote those rules years ago, and we bury anyone who questions them." My stomach twisted. It wasn't just intimidation, it was ownership. The next morning, hashtags trended again. Wanish Goldline exposed had mutated into Slack shut down the association. Other creators braver than I'd expected posted about contracts they'd lost, brands they'd been mysteriously dropped from, opportunities that evaporated without explanation. I wasn't alone anymore. The chorus was growing. But the danger grew too. That afternoon, the reporter called, her voice urgent. "Mia, we need to move fast. I've been told the association is pressuring editors, threatening ad pulls. They're trying to kill the story before it grows. We either publish now, or we might lose our window." I hesitated. "What about Ava?" "We keep searching. But if she's hiding, publishing may be the only way to protect her by making her story too public to erase." Later that evening, I went live again, but this time not from my apartment. Tessa and I checked into a hotel under a fake name. The background was bland beige, the Wi-Fi unstable, but it was safer than home. I looked straight into the lens. "They tried to convince me this was just drama. They tried to convince you this was just a feud. But now you see it's bigger. Goldline is part of something larger, something designed to decide who rises and who vanishes. It's not about talent. It's about control." The chat went wild. We knew it exposed the association. Where is Ava? I ended with the association thinks we're pawns, but pawns can topple kings. As I shut down the stream, a knock rattled the hotel door. Too sharp, too precise to be housekeeping. Tessa froze. I grabbed her hand. Another knock. Then silence. When we finally opened the door, just a crack, a plain envelope sat on the floor. Inside a photo of Ava this time, newer, clearer. She was looking directly at the camera. And on the back, in the same messy handwriting as the Griffith Park note, just 2 words. Help me. The photo burned in my hands. Ava's face, no hood this time. Eyes wide, staring into the lens like she knew I would see it. On the back, help me. It wasn't a warning anymore. It was a cry. Tessa's hands trembled as she held the picture. Mia. This means she's alive. Really alive. And reaching out. Or it means someone wants us to think she is, I muttered. We still don't know who's behind these drops. Tessa looked me dead in the eye. Mia, you can't ignore this. If Ava's asking for help, she's out there alone. And if she's bait? She exhaled. Then we're already in the trap anyway. She was right. The reporter called an hour later. We're going to run Ava's name front and center, she said. The public pressure is too loud now. If Ava's alive and hiding, this might draw her out. If she's captive, God forbid, it'll make it harder for anyone to erase her. My stomach turned at the word captive. That night, I opened Instagram Live again. I know you've seen the photo, I said, holding it up. Ava's not gone. She's asking for help. And I won't stop until we find her. The comments exploded. Iarn find Ava Ross. We're with you, Mia. If they touched her, they're done. By the time I ended the hashtag, phew, find Ava Ross was trending worldwide. But power never yields quietly. The next morning, a smear campaign erupted. Dozens of fake accounts posted leaked DMs showing me supposedly mocking Ava, calling her weak and replaceable. They were crude fakes, but convincing enough for casual eyes. My inbox filled with hate. You don't care about her, you just want clout. I threw my phone across the couch, shaking with rage. They're flipping the script, Tessa growled. Make you the villain again, I won't let them. That evening, another email arrived. Anonymous, no subject, just coordinates. Griffith Park, same area as before. Attached was a single line, if you want Ava, come alone. My chest went cold. It smelled like bait. But what if Ava really was there? Tessa begged me not to go. Mia, this screams setup. If they wanted to hand Ava over, they wouldn't send you cryptic coordinates. And if I don't go, I shot back. What if Ava's there waiting, thinking I ignored her? The silence between us was heavy. Finally, Tessa sighed. Then we go. But not alone. We do it smart. We set eyes, we record everything, we don't walk into their net. For the first time that day, I breathed. At midnight, we drove. The park was a shadow of trees and trails, the air buzzing with crickets. Every rustle made my skin prickle. We reached the coordinates, an old picnic table under a flickering lamp. On the table sat a phone screen glowing with a single video file. I pressed play. Ava appeared, eyes frantic, whispering into the lens, "Don't trust anyone. Not even..." The clip cut to static. Not even... The words hung like a blade in the static. Ava's voice cut mid-sentence, unfinished, unbearable. Not even who. Not even me. Not even Tessa. Not even the reporter. The questions clawed at me all night. Tessa tried to be steady. It could have been cut on purpose, she said, pacing the hotel room. Maybe to rattle you. Or maybe Ava didn't finish because she was interrupted. Neither option comforted me. I watched the grainy freeze frame of her face again and again, searching for some hidden clue. Her eyes were wide, but not just in fear. They looked almost pleading, like she knew she was about to be silenced. The next morning, chaos erupted online. The Find Ava Ross hashtag had exploded overnight, trending #1 across the US. Celebrities were reposting it. Journalists were asking questions. Even government accounts were forced to acknowledge it. We are aware of public concern regarding Ava Ross and are monitoring the situation. For the first time, it felt bigger than just me. Ava had become a movement. But movements paint targets. By noon, my live stream clips disappeared from one platform. No warning, no explanation. Just gone. My inbox filled with content violation notices. Goldline and the association weren't just threatening anymore. They were pulling strings. I slammed my laptop shut chest tight. They're trying to erase me like they erased Ava. Tessa grabbed my wrist. Then you fight louder. That night, the reporter called, voice trembling. Mia, I think I found her. I sat upright. Ava, yes. A contact sent me footage from a safe house outside the city. It's blurry, but I'm almost sure it's her. She's alive. My throat caught. Then let's go. The reporter hesitated. There's a risk. If we go in without cover, we could walk into the same trap Ava warned about. She said, don't trust anyone. Maybe she meant me. Her voice cracked on the last word. For the first time, I realized she was scared too. Later that night, I got another burner message. If you want the truth, come alone tomorrow night. No cameras, no friends, just you. Or Ava disappears forever. Coordinates followed. Not Griffith Park this time. Downtown LA. An abandoned warehouse by the river. Tessa read the message, face pale. This is it. They're drawing you in. Or Ava really is there, I whispered. The silence stretched. Finally, Tessa said, if you go, you might not come back. I looked at the photo again, Ava's eyes begging. Then I have to. The warehouse loomed against the river like a broken ribcage, steel bones jutting into the night sky. I parked 2 blocks away, heart pounding so loud it blurred with the sound of water rushing below the bridge. Tessa begged me to let her come, but I shook my head. If this is a trap, I can't drag you in, I whispered. She gripped my hand, eyes wet. Then don't let it end here, Mia. I walked the last stretch alone. My footsteps echoed off cracked pavement. Every shadow felt alive. At the warehouse door, a phone buzzed in the dark. A burner taped to the handle. Its screen glowed with a single message. Inside. I pulled the door open. The hinges groaned like a warning. The space was cavernous, empty except for a single chair under a hanging light. And in that chair, Ava. She looked thinner, pale, but alive. Her wrists weren't tied yet. She sat still like someone who'd learned not to move too quickly. Mia, she whispered, voice hoarse. You shouldn't have come. My chest collapsed with relief and dread all at once. Ava, you asked for help. I came. She shook her head. I didn't send everything you saw. Some of it was them. They're watching us both. Before I could answer, footsteps echoed from the far end of the warehouse. Figures emerged, 3 men in suits, their faces unreadable in the shadows. One spoke calm and cold. You've made too much noise, Mia. We tolerated your tantrums, but now you threaten the association itself. I stood frozen. So it's true. You orchestrate everything. He smiled faintly. Narratives are business. Stars are chosen. Others are rotated out. Ava understood that. You could have too. Ava's eyes glistened. They'll never let us walk out of here, Mia. My phone was still streaming. Hidden in my pocket, I'd gone live before stepping inside. Tens of thousands of people were watching. I raised my voice steady despite the quake inside me. Everyone sees you. You're not shadows anymore. This is the association deciding who rises and who vanishes. The men froze. One lunged forward, yanking the phone from my hand. He smashed it against the floor. But it was too late. The stream had already gone out. The truth was live. Chaos erupted online within minutes. Supporters flooded the streets outside Goldline's offices. Journalists replayed the footage on loop. The government could no longer deny it. Inside the warehouse, the men retreated, muttering curses. They knew exposure was more dangerous than silence now. Ava collapsed into my arms, sobbing. I thought I was erased forever. Not anymore, I whispered. Weeks later, hearings began. The association unraveled under subpoenas and public outrage. Brands scrambled to distance themselves. Goldline bled clients by the day. Ava testified, trembling but fierce. I stood beside her not as savior but as ally. When it was over, she squeezed my hand. You saved me, Mia. I shook my head. We saved each other. I still carry scars. I still check shadows when I walk home. Power doesn't disappear overnight, it just hides and waits. But I learned something stronger than fear. Your voice is the only thing they can't erase unless you let them. And I will never let them.